it's past my bedtime, which means it's the perfect time to film this video. Gosh, here we go. Hi, welcome back to Katie Can't Read. I'm Katie. I can't read. And I've got my Ravka college sweater on because I am about to make the most unhinged Grishaverse video that I could ever make. This will be more unhinged than my Rule of Wolves reading vlog. This will be more unhinged than the time that I made a Grishaverse tier rank and gave David his own tier. This will be the most unhinged thing you've ever seen. So, Leigh Bardugo didn't realize that when she was writing her universe, she accidentally created the most book universe ever. Sure, the Shadow and Bone trilogy is pretty straight. However, it's straight, but it's for the queers. All of those books, all of them, are for the gays. Every single one of them. And I believe firmly in my soul that every single one of the core characters is a part of the LGBT community. But Katie, how can that be when Mal and Matthias exist? They're both a part of the LGBT community. And we'll get into that in this video. Today I'm sharing with you my Grishaverse sexuality headcanons. Because why not? I have bothered at least 15 of my friends with a long text thread of all of them. So why not just publicly declare it? Let everyone get mad at me, tell me I'm wrong, and then we'll just move on. Yeah, I've thought long and hard about this. And people do this all the time, so you can't get mad at me. Here are my rules for the night. First of all, I have them all written out. The only characters I will be touching on are like core characters. Core characters. Also, I will not be ignoring if there is a canon confirmed sexuality, I will not be destroying it. Does that make sense? It's only the people who are a little more ambiguous that I'll be teasing, you know? Like, I will be going for it, and you guys are going to either appreciate this or unsubscribe, and I'm very excited to see how it pans out. Anyway, I've compiled a list of 23 of the core Grishaverse characters for you tonight, and I'm going to tell you how I think all of them would identify in a modern universe. Disclaimer, these are all my opinions. Your opinion is not wrong. Usually my opinion is wrong. So if you feel very strongly that so-and-so is not what I say they are, I have no authority on the subject. All I know is what I know. I am not an official with the Grishaverse. This is not sponsored. This is just me being unhinged at 9 o'clock at night, as I always do. So without further ado, let's jump in with the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Specifically. Hi, welcome. We're going to talk about the Grisha trilogy. For those of you that are new here, if you're new here, hello. This video is doing much better than I hoped it would. Essentially, I love the Grisha trilogy. I know a lot of people are like, Sex of Crows is the best, but like, dude, Shadow and Bone pops off. So I feel like there's no better place to start than with my girl, Alina Starkov. Love her. But, a cis? First of all, not cis. Secondly, she talks about Jenya and Jenya's beauty way too much to be straight. I mean, same. I also am obsessed with Jenya, but like, girl. Miss Starkov. Wow. So that is why I have decided that Alina Starkov is pansexual, and she uses she, they pronouns. I stole that one from Jessie Maylee because I felt like I should. Now let's move on to Mal. I know everyone's already like, how can Mal be anything but straight? He's such a dude, bro. And let me just turn your attention to Siege and Storm. For the first chunk of Siege and Storm, Mal is flirting with Sturmhond. Mal is very much like, let's wrestle, and this is absurd. But like, you know, I think if Mal wasn't like involved with Alina at that point, he might have went for it, you know? Mal to me kind of gives bisexual energy in the way that Percy Jackson does, where it's like, yes, but he's so in love with Alina. Mal, not Percy Jackson, but he's so in love with Alina that like it doesn't, like, to him it's like, okay, cool. Like, it's not like, you know, a thing. It's just part of who he is, and Alina is just who he loves. Anyway, Mal is a bi icon. And now we are at Mr. the Darkling, whom I'm an anti for. And, you know, as much as I'm an anti, I will be giving him one of my labels, because I'm nice like that. No, it's because I very much feel this way about him. I feel very strongly about the fact that I believe the Darkling is both aromantic and pansexual. I just heard someone scream at me, but he loved Alina. He did not. The Darkling, I don't think, ever had any romantic feelings for Alina, okay? Like, I firmly believe that if the Sun Summoner had been a 67-year-old man with, like, kids and grandkids and, like, a wife, like, the Darkling still would have tried to seduce him. It had nothing to do with the fact that Alina was young and hot. I think that was just a perk. You know, the fact that Alina was 17 was just a perk, where the Darkling was like, okay, cool. You know, like, the fact that she wasn't 67 was, like, great for him. So, yeah. I firmly think he's aromantic. I think he's never had romantic feelings ever. But he's also pansexual, because, you know, he's like, I just care about power. Don't really care about the gender of the people. I just care about the power within. This leads us. That's a terrible segue. That has nothing in common with this next person. We'll be talking about Nikolai. Oh, King Lansov. Mr. Nick. Our bisexual king. I feel like everyone kind of agrees that that is a thing. And, like, you can't tell me. You can't convince me that his friend Dominic from the King of Scars flashbacks was not his boyfriend. That was fruity. That was a little, you know, like, Nikolai and Dominic was a little, sorry, I'm not wrong. Now we're gonna talk about Miss Baghra. What a weird order to throw her next. I just wanted to. Baghra is a lesbian. Baghra is a lesbian. She is a cave witch lesbian, and she paved the way for the cave witch lesbians of today. Without Baghra, there would not be a cave witch lesbian subsection. And I think that all the lesbians need to just claim Baghra as their icon. And that's all. Let's talk about my girl Jenya. So I love Jenya. And actually half of this one I didn't come up with. I saw it like twice on a text post somewhere, and I said, yes. So this leads us to Trans Jenya. Oh my god, that's so fun. Trans Jenya. Anyway, I saw someone say Jenya was trans like one time, because there's a line somewhere where she said she started working on herself when she was 3. And I'm like, what is worth working on yourself for when you're 3? And then I went, oh. Jenya is also bisexual because she is definitely into David. Like, definitely into David. But she is also kind of flirty with, like, if David wasn't her main crush, she would have Alina, you know, just a little. So yeah, Miss Jenya definitely has some sapphic tendencies. I love her. It's David time. David's is the one I am most proud of, okay? Like, I thought long and hard about this, and it just feels so right that's why this video is getting made. Without the David one, this video never would have been made. So let's talk about my David Caustic for a second. David Caustic is both demi-romantic and demisexual, and the reason he never made a move on Jenya for so long was because he was so confused as to whether he just wanted to be her best friend or he wanted to brush her hair. And is brushing her hair a romantic thing, or is it a friend thing? And like, felt that one, bro. Let me know when you find out. And so David gets to be on the asexual spectrum, where he belongs. Now let's talk about our third member of the Grisha triumvirate, Zoya. Zoya, in this note, I put in all caps, bisexual. Our queen of bisexualness. I just love the idea of her and Nikolai, both being, like, bi legends, but then on top of that, being at, like pre-King of Scars, post-Rune and Rising, like being at like a state dinner or something, and they both have this game that they play where they try to find the most attractive foreign diplomat, and they both try to seduce that foreign diplomat, and whoever wins. And so there is sabotage allowed, you know, like that's just how I imagine pre-King of Scars politics for those two, because they worked together for a long time pre-King of Scars. Let's talk about my boy Tolya. So Tolya's is kind of confirmed in canon in Rule of Wolves, but like there's no labels in the Grishaverse, which is fun because I love that. However, Tolya very much hints at being Arrow Ace in Rule of Wolves right before the end of my life happened. So it was the last good thing that happened in that book for me. Tolya and Nikolai kind of have this conversation, and Nikolai's like, well, why don't you have a romance? And Tolya's like, well, I've got everything I need. I have all the love I need, and there's all different types of love, and I don't need the other kind. And I said king, so my king Tolya is both aromantic and asexual, as he should. Tamar, she's a lesbian. We know this. It's in the canon. It's in the text, kinda. So I'm sticking with it. I'm absolutely staying with it, as is her wife, Nadia. They're both lesbians. They're married together. So, like, Tamar kind of fills the knife axe lesbian position, and Nadia kind of gives me cottagecore witch lesbian energy, and I love that balance. So that's that. That's canon. We don't need that. And finally, for the Grisha trilogy section, I've decided to throw in Harsha, even though he is not a main character. I just felt this one is important to me. Mr. Harsha, my Arrow Ace King, I claim you as my own, because I too would carry a cat around for an entire book and be obsessed with fire. Like, I too would commit arson for my cat. Like, yeah, we relate on a psychological level, so you and I have the same. Let's talk about Six of Crows. So Six of Crows is objectively of the Grishaverse. It's a little bit more, and then yeah, so let's just get started right away. I decided to throw in Juiced for kind of like the same reason I threw in Harsha. Not a main character, but I really wanted to. So Juiced, he, they pronouns, absolutely. And Juiced is bisexual. No one who's straight cares about the moon enough to make it one of his 2 problems. Let's talk about Kaz. So before I talk about Kaz and Inej, I do want to say that I've seen a lot of people headcanon them as fully asexual, and as a person that identifies as asexual, I don't agree, because I hate when people claim asexual representation on characters that are just traumatized. Asexual people are not broken. Asexual people don't need trauma to be asexual. That is not at all a thing. And heck, a lot of traumatized people are not asexual, and a lot of asexual people are not traumatized. Not mutually exclusive. Sometimes it does happen to run in the same circle, but I don't think it does for this case, especially Mr. Casbricker. Mr. Casbricker has many thoughts about Inej throughout the books that are like, that sounds like sexual attraction to me. But I do think that he is on the asexual spectrum. Does that, you know what I mean? So I do think he lives somewhere in the demi-romantic section, and the demisexual area. But I definitely think he's more like, I just don't think he thinks about it. You know what I mean? Like, I think he just like, whatever. And then Inej showed up and he was like, I'm in love with her. After they became friends, you know, after their friendship started to bubble up, then he started to have these romantic feelings for her, and then these sexual feelings for her, and then it was over. He was like, I'm simping, and I don't blame him. Also, Kaz, he, they. I saw that on a TikTok, and I said, I agree. Inej, she is a biromantic queen. She's also demisexual. She just gives me that energy. She just does. She's also biromantic because I said so. Also, Inej, she, they. We love she, they, he, they coupling. Now let's talk about Nina. I have personally always viewed Nina as pansexual. I know that a lot of people claim her as bisexual, which I also fully agree with, and I'm like, yes. But this girl is not gender exclusive. That's canon. That is canon. But she's always giving me pansexual vibes, where she's like, I don't really care. I just care about the soul. You know, like, that's her. There's also that line where Matthias is like, you would flirt with a houseplant. I'm like, okay, Matthias, keep it to yourself. But yeah, Nina's a pansexual queen to me. Now let's talk about Matthias. So I know everyone is like, Katie, how are you going to fit Matthias in this? He's definitely the token straight. But you would be wrong. Because Matthias Helvar is gray asexual. You can hold your applause for my brain. Matthias Helvar hated Nina so much because it was the first time he ever felt attraction to anyone. He saw her and he was like, what is this? What is this feeling so sudden and new? It's loathing. Like that song from Wicked. That's kind of just Matthias and his asexuality situation, where I think he was like his whole life, he was like, oh, you know, it's just because I'm religious, you know, I don't think about it. And then he met Nina and he was like, oh no, oh no. And yeah, he just cares about Nina, you know, that's all he cares about. Jesper Fahey, canon bisexual, not changing it, not playing with it, but also we're adding he, they pronouns. I just feel like every character in Six of Crows is not cisgendered, you know? Nor should they be. They invented be gay, do crime. Then we have Mr. Wyland Van Eck, who in canon is gay, and he also uses he, they pronouns like his adopted straight dad, Casbrecker. Now let's talk about Kue Yobo. Love that little boy. Kue is gay, and after canon, they would use they, them pronouns. We love a non-binary Kue moment. Now let's talk about, I only have four from King of Scars. Let's talk about that. So the King of Scars duology is tough because all of the main characters we've already talked about. So let's just talk about the newer additions to the cast from the King of Scars duology. Starting with Hana, or however we pronounce her name. I pronounce it Hana because I like it. I believe, okay, so Hana This one's tricky because in canon, Hana has some gender feelings. So there's a lot of like different interpretations of how you view Hana and their gender. I, with my opinion that is not at all the right one, it could be the right one, but I don't know. This is just me and my intuition and my context clues. I think of Hana as gender fluid, or trans, or just not cisgendered. Like, that is clear. That is clear. But like, I don't know quite which one, but I think of gender fluid when I think of Hana specifically. And Hana uses any pronouns. Leonie, pansexual, she, they. You can't tell me she's not. Adric, bisexual, love him. But he's also, I think, demi-romantic, and it took a long time for him to develop feelings for Leonie, you know? And we're gonna round it out, the whole production, with Isaac, the juiced of the King of Scars duology. I love Isaac, and Isaac is a bisexual king. He had a crush on Nikolai Lansov, and I really, really support that for him. It's a good call. It's a good call, Isaac. Yeah, we did it. Well, I hope you liked this video. Hope it made someone laugh or smile or hate me. If you disagree with me, comment below. Let's chat. If you agree with me, please let me know. I would like to know. I like when people agree with me and think I'm smart and funny and pretty and nice. I should film every video when I'm exhausted. I think it makes them funnier. Yeah. I was just like, let's make another Grishaverse video. It's been a little while and I'm still thinking about it every second of the day. So hi, we're back on our garbage. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. I am sorry about this. Back to our regular, normal scheduled programming on Tuesday. But yes. And remember, y'all voted for this. I put it on my community tab, and like 70% of 300 votes voted for this. So you're welcome. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next chapter. Bye.